Of course, I asked everybody to um, begin with a toast of connection with each other. Then we're going to be working on our bottles. So we have our wine for those or other alcohol, depending on what you wanted to drink. Or for those who cannot drink, they can have whatever they're able to have. So here's to a good night. Cheers. So I wanted to thank you again for coming. And I wanted to be able to talk to you about what the chapter was about first, and it was discovering a sense of connection. But what she's discussing here is a connection of about our personal dreams and developing active listening skills while we are doing these creative activities. A lot of people don't realize that these creative activities, they seem silly and odd and different, and why am I spending this time on this? And sometimes it just feels frivolous. But the part of the activities are designed to be able to allow you to connect with your inner artist and with your higher power, your creator, God, and how you have that experience and opportunity to be together in relationship. But it's also preparing you to be more active in listening through that activity. So in those activities, like we've discussed before, it unleashes a little bit more of thoughts and feelings and emotions that we didn't realize were there. Some of them was anger. Some of them like, why am I doing this? Some of it was, we talked about the inner critic. We talked about the parasite that's trying to prevent you from being able to do these things. A little bit about how our definitions and limitations prevent us from really experiencing certain things. But the process of doing these, and the more we do this, it allows us to learn more and develop the active skill of listening to what these activities are trying to tell us. And so in here, we're practicing how to listen to what the Holy Spirit is saying to you and guiding, basically saying to do this, to try that, to say this in your writing. It's allowing you to be able to say, oh, okay, that's what it's really trying to get to. It's trying to allow me to hear and have the opportunity to and take the time to hear. And if we're willing to accept that possibility that God is actually helping us in whatever we are doing, no matter how big or small, and whatever our dreams may be, that if we let go of the fear that somehow our God will find what we do is either decadent or frivolous or stupid, or that we discount his guidance in this process, it prevents us from being able to really take advantage of that connection. And so that's what she's trying to be able to say, that this is what we're trying to foster, rediscover that connection in our lives and be able to also discover what our dreams are, and how God is working in our lives. So remember that God is a great artist, and artists like other artists, right? And so and to try to expect in our process as we're thinking this, that God is supporting us and encouraging us and trying to help us achieve our dreams, that God wants us to achieve our dreams and to be able to express ourselves through our creativity, whatever that may be. And so she also in this chapter discusses risk and jealousy. And taking risk in art is part of what we do all the time. You have to be willing to go further, to ruin the piece. I remember one art class I had, a professor, it was a fibers class, and we had to spend all this time on batik design, and we had to do this waxing and design the whole thing so we can design our own material and our own pattern to that material. So we did the dyes, we did this heat process, and it was a long process to do. And I had created this beautiful piece. I just loved it. I thought it was so pretty. The colors were great. It turned out wonderful. And then she said we had to cut it up. We had to transform what we made into something else, entirely something else. And that was one of the hardest exercises for me, because I was like, why am I going to ruin this beautiful piece? What are you doing? And it didn't turn out as well as I wanted to. And it certainly was a frustrating experience, but it was exercise to allow us to see that if we hang on to something, it will never be perfect. So the idea is that they're never going to be that perfection. And if we keep hanging on to it, we'll never either be happy with it, or we may ruin it, or those different things that may end up being the case. But if we don't take the chance, we may never experience that next level of being able to see what we can do or what is possible, and trusting the process in that experience. And so that was good for me to experience, but also in the process of just understanding what that really means. So taking risks, allowing yourself to be able to try new things, putting it on ink instead of just pencil and erasing it, that type of thing. There is a quote in the book from a Susan Jeffers that says, "We cannot escape our fear. We can only transform it into a compassion that accompanies us on all our exciting adventures." So she says to take a risk every day, one small or bold stroke that will make you feel great once you have done it. So just let yourself go and do it. And ask yourself, if I didn't have to do it perfectly, what would I try? So that's going to be our big task for next week, for us to be thinking about while we're doing this tonight and then next week, is like, okay, if I didn't have to do it perfectly, what would I try? And to allow ourselves to take that risk, to be able to give it a go, maybe experiment, take a class. I don't know what that might be, but allow yourself to be able to do that. The next thing that she discussed in the chapter was about jealousy. And jealousy is like anger. It points us in a direction that we're supposed to go. So anger is just like another emotion. It's just giving us direction. So if we're listening, we're actively listening to what's happening in our activities, then jealousy is also one of them. I can't, why they have this, they have the she shed, and they have this activity, and they have all this, they have the best backyard, and they have a studio. Well, you're jealous of what they have. And then what's the action is saying that's something that you need to be doing. Maybe you clean your closet and you make space for your own little studio. Maybe you do something different to be able to actively move in the direction of something that's telling you that's what you really want. And that's where the jealousy is being spurned. And then that way you can be able to use it as a direction to take for action in your life. So on 125, is the activity she has. She did two activities actually, and these are time to do more sleuth work, and these are the fun parts, right? So we're just going to go ahead and get started on that. It said two of them are, I think it's essentially 1 through 20 altogether, but the first is just 1 through 10. So it asks you to complete these phrases rather. As a kid, I missed the chance to. Anyone have to jump in?
You're saying like as a kid, like
Yes.
when I was a kid, I missed what I'm missing.
Yeah. What did you miss as a kid? You missed the chance.
Like what did I miss when I was a kid, or now that I'm not a
Yeah,
kid, what I missed then?
It's more a matter of what pops in your head first. So it's like whatever it tells you. So
I missed
the chance to do it
after a baseball game.
Oh, okay.
And then getting popcorn. I still have one. Anyway.
Mike looks like he raised a hand.
Yes. As a kid, I missed probably being more confident. I think I was extremely shy as a very young kid, and maybe that prevented me to do a lot of things that would get out of that. I don't know. Maybe that you're very secure if you don't do anything, right? You're safe.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're confident, you're willing to take that risk, and taking that risk could be just about anything, good and bad. But it's confidence in making good decisions as far as making those I guess commitments instead of just taking the low road, if you will, and just being sure that you won't get in trouble, or not trouble, you won't have a risk of being made fun of, possibly.
Exactly, drawing attention to yourself, and maybe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Anyone else want to add anything to there? All right. The next question is, as a kid, I lacked. What do you think?
Confidence.
Confidence.
Agreed.
I didn't have it. I had to develop it and actively put myself into situations that helped me gain that confidence. Put
Mhm.
myself into different gatherings or stuff that I had no interest in, but I knew that maybe I would talk to people in it. And so I had to force myself into those situations just to get better at my interpersonal skills and just get more used to that. And through that, I was able to gain it. But as a kid, I had almost no confidence.
Anyone else? Okay. And the next one is, as a kid, I could have used. What do you think? What could you have used?
I always had good friends, but I could have used more positive people surrounding me and encourage me. I think having that really can make you get out of that company, being the lack of confidence. So I think Joseph nailed it as far as that confidence. So yeah, it's once you're confident, you can do the sky's the limit, I believe, and you're not as you're more fearless, so you're fearful.
Well, I think we have a tendency in general, our human nature is to be more safe. And
yes,
to look for that and to seek that and to try to make sure that we are and maintain that level of safety. And so that comfort zone, like everyone feels more comfortable there. But risk is really what allows us to be able to test and see what we are good at, what we're not, and we have to be willing to fall. We have to be willing to fall and recognize that we're going to be able to get back up. And it may be bruised a little bit, but we can get back up and we're going to be fine. And that's where the confidence comes, is that, oh, it's not as bad as I had imagined it to be, or it's even better than I expected it to be. And then in some cases, it's even more, it gives you that next level, like, oh, I can go further. So we should be designing our life based off of like pushing that and testing how far we can go, expecting to fall, expecting to trip, pushing the boundaries a little bit by allowing ourselves to kind of say, okay, let's just see how far we could make this. Let's just kind of, and then maybe seek out items that are maybe makes you feel a little bit unsure, but test those limits a little bit more.
I think, but the challenge I think some people may face is when they do fall and you don't have the right supporting system, or you don't have the right confidence, or the inner or the external features to help you get through those things, can make you wallow and make you get in that more lack of more confidence, unfortunately. And then you may blame yourself, you may blame others, you may be very
or you let the inner critic take control, like
yes.
And that's where this happens, where we get these blocks, is because then we let the inner critic or that parasite gain control, and then it convinces you not to try new things. Oh, see what happened last time? Oh, it was a disaster. You were terrible. You never should have done that. And you start hearing that negative critic, that inner parasite that really starts to feed, and you allow it to grow and you allow it to feed on that. Versus,
I really hate those naysayers.
It does.
You know what's sad is I could be one of them too, unfortunately. Instead of being the cheerleader supporting whoever or whatever, I sometimes show on the skepticism side versus the being critical in a productive way. I think I'm guilty of that at times.
Well, and that happens to everybody. They even say that the more blocked you are, that's where it comes from, is because you also have that part of you that's preventing, and it doesn't, it's hard to let that go, because it is a feature in our life that is comfortable. I mean, may not necessarily be good for us, but it's something we know and we're familiar with, and so we're more comfortable there, and we allow it to happen. So you're right. I mean, it's not only for ourselves, but also for others. As a kid, I dreamed of being.
I got that. Ready? Superhero. Spider-Man and Hulk.
Mission Impossible, right? You used to be running around being Mission Impossible.
Oh gosh. Well, I want to give all my secrets out. I was just going to say Superman, or not Superman, Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe, what about you?
I
But
wanted to be a lot of things.
Well, first on top of your head, what you dreamed of being?
Nothing comes to the top of my head. It's all a blur.
I remember you coming to me one day and you said, Mom, I want to be an army of one. And I was like, what? You had saw a commercial and you wanted to be an army of one and you wanted to go into the army. That's when you're so about the military and you had that's why Uncle Mike gave you all those extra helmets and military and all the patches and everything. You're all about doing that. So I just remember you saying that. That was such a serious time too. You were like maybe 5, maybe, I don't know, but you were so serious. Mom, I want to be an army of one.
Like, just saw the commercial. The propaganda worked.
well, I'll say this: at a very young age, you're extremely focused. I mean, I remember you and your dad making that beautiful display of a war map, basically 3D war map, and it was incredible. The amount of time and effort. I mean, it took maybe it was like a 10 by 10. It was quite large.
It was very
illustration.
Large. Yeah.
It was cool. I did like that.
That was incredible. I mean, you had mountain ranges, you had the greenery, you had the soldiers, you had, artillery. I mean, it was just a perfect landscape of having a little war games, if you will.
It definitely was. It definitely was. I remember that. As a kid, I wanted
Sorry.
A pet dolphin.
A pet dolphin.
Oh, goodness.
So bad.
I wanted Barbies and all the little accessories and the big house. My neighbor had all of it. And every time I go visit, I would just be this is so great. I love everything. And we just really couldn't afford everything. So it was just my chance to go and play. But I wanted all of that stuff, all the clothes and the cute little outfits and the little Barbie dream house and the little car. Ashley, did you have a thing that you really wanted? You wanted
I'm trying to think. Like an axolotl, like a little, wanted one of those.
No,
I could have had one too. We went to a flea market once and I saw it there and I was like, have enough. But I thought,
well, that's too bad. The next question is, in my house, we never had enough
Money.
What? Food, chocolate,
time.
Time? Did I hear time?
Yeah, time.
All right. As a kid, I needed more
Patience.
Patience, maybe.
Yeah,
Focus.
patience and focus.
Focus, good one. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I needed more attention.
Oh, yeah.
Almost like I had a deficit disorder or something.
Just maybe.
I think it's in the family, my friend.
I am sorry that I will never again see
My grandfather.
Oh.
Yeah.
Grandmother.
I was just gonna say like something like the world the way I saw it as a kid, but that's pretty good too.
Pretty deep.
My grandfather was just my whole world when I was little.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
That's nice. Okay.
I don't know. I guess I will never see like across the street there was a farm that had a cornfield. We used to play in it, and we had children of the corn, and it was just growing up. It was a very charmed life and certainly interesting. But
Yeah, they had a sticker on the front with their branding.
For years, I've missed and wondered about. For years, I've missed and wondered about.
Missed and wondered about.
My friend Katie. I named my pug after her.
You missed
Oh.
and wondered about?
Yeah, she moved away and I never saw her again.
Oh.
Old girlfriend. I mean,
No.
not like, yeah, old girlfriend. Yeah. See how
Okay.
she's doing. Yeah.
I
Friends.
don't know her last name.
Various people that have been in and out of my life, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
People I've known,
I
yeah.
miss Aunt Amy.
Oh, Aunt Amy, yes.
Yeah, because like I always wondered, because like I don't know, after we moved, like I never talked to her, and all of a sudden, you know,
And then
then she passed.
Mm-hmm.
she passed. That came out of
What?
nowhere, but apparently it was
Yeah.
Yeah, Aunt Amy had passed away a few years ago. I beat myself up about the loss of what? I didn't hear it. A loss of what?
State championship. Like state
Oh.
competition.
I was about to say, she
State.
just said state, and I was like, what does that mean?
I mean, like moving away.
I was like,
Is it
I was gonna say the same
moving
thing,
from a
important games.
state, losing the election.
everything.
There's like a lot that definitely could go in.
She experienced war and losing his state.
State of mind. It was like
And then with
state.
sport.
Oh,
All right, the next another phases of 10, but it's important to acknowledge our positive inventory as well as some of our other shortfalls and things that may have been negative or maybe you thought were negatives. And so here it's a time for us to think and take positive stock of what good you have built in the present. I have a loyal friend in
Toy Story.
Ah.
That's where it comes from.
You've got a friend in me.
I have a loyal friend, and just being a good friend.
Tennessee.
I'm a loyal
Say it
friend
again?
in tequila. That's what I'm saying, right? My friend Matt, he's been my friend for ever now. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Jackson, he's still a good friend. I could talk to any of those guys now and it'd be like there was no time gap.
Yeah, it is really nice.
That's nice.
One thing I like about my town is this is a current town, so
Oh, about to say current town. What's a nice
Call
thing
my
I could
friends.
say about it?
friends.
I think I
We
get
got a little nicer.
big town, small city feel. So it's still, I mean, it's a very large town, but you can get the town up, feel. But
Everybody-
yeah, it's still a city. Can you hear me?
No, yes, you're fine. You froze for a second.
Okay.
Yes, you do. I do totally agree with your location. You kind of get a combination of both. You get that feeling of being away, but still having conveniences.
Yeah.
I think for me, I think it's really more my the house and the neighborhood. I really like where we're at. I mean, this the backyard, the space is nice. I do like that. I think I have nice. What do you have? I think
Friends. I have some good friends.
nice friends, nice family.
Great family.
All the things I have, yes.
Writing my morning pages has shown me I can. For those who are writing the pages, I can do it. Sometimes it's not so easy. And I think it also shows me that I can
Stay consistent.
yeah, I can be consistent and I can listen a little bit better when I'm writing the pages. I am taking a greater interest in
This.
Mental health.
mental health, finding more ways to express ourselves and to connect, to make the connections with our God, and then really maybe see the guidance of where the Holy Spirit's working in our lives.
Nice. Yes.
I believe I'm getting better at
Sleeping? Just kidding.
I mean, you definitely can get better at it.
I wish I could get better at it.
And it is a skill you don't appreciate until you lost it.
That's very true. I think I'm getting better at some of my drawing.
You're always good.
Thank you. Well, there's times when I'm like, and then I look back, wow, I have actually made some.
Rick, don't listen.
Hannah, did you want to join in?
I've gotten better at self-criticism.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Introspection. Oh my goodness.
Introspection. My artist has started to pay more attention to. I
Say
said
the question
joy.
again.
My artist has started to pay more attention to. For me, it's like joy and
Creativity.
creativity.
I wish
Maybe
I had
this-
more paintbrushes. I'm sorry. I could be a lot further along. I'm trying to get
Oh,
one
no
for
worries.
tips.
It's all about having fun. Anyone else? The artists you're paying more attention to?
What you said, joy? As an artist, I just am paying attention to different mediums more.
Okay.
But as for where I get my joy, I don't know. I've been pretty good about being in touch with that.
Well, I think I also, as an artist, I think I'm also paying more attention to being less critical of myself and how I'm looking at things. I think that's where the joy is coming in, where I'm not as focused on the perfection of it or mastering a certain thing, but just enjoying the process. So I do believe that has changed.
Good.
It helps that I've started not being so attached to an outcome and just experiencing it as I go.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm. It helps a lot. Here's a big one for everybody. My self-care is
Improving.
Improvement.
mm-hmm.
I was working out, but I've been not working out lately. So that's the physical. Now, mental self-care, I like that.
Mhm.
Maybe reflection.
Like Hannah.
Some people will use praying or spirituality, which is good. I think I have connected better on that aspect, though.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. And I think it's the hardest part is really not just giving yourself self-care. And I think it's particularly difficult for mothers and young kids, mothers with young kids, but also for people in general to really take the time to do what is necessary to nurture yourself, taking the time, because we feel like it's frivolous or it's wasteful or I should be working or I should be doing this. And so we put all these shoulds. There was a professor in one of my classes that would always say, stop shoulding on yourself. And and it's true. We do that to ourselves a lot. We'll say, I should be this, I should do that, I should have this. And we need to just stop shooting on ourselves. And so it would help us to just sort of take that time to say, okay, we're going to love ourselves through this. Right now I'm focused on loving and healing myself through creativity. But the self-care is the part of just really taking that time to nurture yourself and to listen to the whole active listening is listening to what your body needs, listening to what you need to be able to do to give it that refreshment, that encouragement, the sleep, whatever it is, to help you to continue to grow and to really accomplish your dreams and to really realize what that might be in your life.
Well, the hard thing with that, I mean, it to me, and I wonder if others can relate, it's harder than to do because life happens. And when you have a family, when you have things, it's so easy to be distracted or just to be broken down. Because like what you're doing right now, sis, it takes work, it takes a lot of energy, and it's easy just to quit. So, I mean, to stay focused and the fortitude to push you forward, it can be challenging.
Mhm.
So, those are good words, but it's sometimes really hard to put action behind those words.
Absolutely. And that's what she's saying is that throughout this process, these are just exercises to help us to not only to recognize that that's what we need in our lives, because we don't even realize we're missing it sometimes, that we're not doing it for ourselves. And then it's like, oh, can I even give myself that time? Because I don't know how. I mean, I'm here with the kids, I'm finally now just starting to figure out what I can do in the times that I like, wow, I can actually do some of this. And what is it that I want? You deny yourself for so long. And it's like, well, what do I want? What listening to these things to allow yourself to say, okay, this is where I need to try, or at least experience this. And that's not easy. You're totally right. It's just giving yourself the permission and the time to do that every day is what we really need to make sure that we get away from when we leave this class, we leave or this group, and we go on to some other things, is to remember that really is the number one focus of why we're doing this and spending time with these creative activities. Is not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a specific activity. It's really more a matter of whatever it is, whatever brings you joy. Cooking, baking, eating, going for a walk, but remembering to do it for you, to take that time to care for yourself and to listen while you're doing that so that you can really hear what the next step might be or the direction you should take in your life. That's really what is, and yes, not necessarily easy, but necessary. The last,
I think it's just been being consistent for myself is the hard part.
yes.
It's not that I don't recognize it or want to, it's just the consistency of it.
Mm-hmm. And that's also part of the process too, is trying to figure out, I need to be able to do this, like the pages every day. I need to be able to do this one thing, but it's like establishing that routine is part of it. And again, no judgments. Because if you start, I remember, I would start something and then it'd be like, oh, I didn't do it. And so then it's all or nothing. Remember, it's an and. So if we don't always get it done because of life, we don't beat ourselves up because we didn't get it done. We say, okay, we accept that it's what it is, and we are going to get back on and keep doing it the next day. And that's the key to all of it, is to make sure that we're not judging ourselves and being so critical and allowing that inner critic or that parasite to take control. And saying, okay, no, it is what it is. Life is going to get in the way sometimes, and I can still accomplish these things, but maybe I'm going to have to schedule it in my day. I'm going to schedule it for my lunch, or I'm going to schedule this artist date. And that gives you that time. You're giving yourself permission, but you're giving yourself that time to be able to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel more after these activities? I feel more
Relax.
Yeah.
More relaxed. Yes, I like that.
I feel like we come closer as a person and this group of people. I mean, I think we're able to
Yeah.
share.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people can't share. I mean, it's hard for them, and that difficulty to open up is another obstacle or challenge they may face. That confidence. Well, I mean, it's easier to just say nothing than to try to put yourself out there and or have a silly question or something like that. Because I mean, who wants to feel uncomfortable if they say something wrong or inappropriate or something. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, very true. Very true. Anyone else want to join in, or you guys?
I agree with that.
Oh, it's hard to do that
Putting yourself out there is such a scary
in any
thing.
capacity.
yeah.
Because you put a lot of yourself in whatever you do, and so
I'll be right back.
any rejection could be a zero-sec rejection of yourself. Even if
And that
it's
is
not
part of
you.
it. We're creative. I'm sorry. I let you finish that last.
Oh no, I'm finished.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's as creative people, we especially have, like, when we were putting our emotions out there, right? So sometimes when we're creating a piece of art or writing or something like that, that even feels more personal if someone criticizes it. They're like, well, you're attacking me, not just this item. But so sometimes it can feel more personal because of what we're dealing with, because we're putting our emotions, our reflections of who we are. And so I think that can, cause people to feel a little bit more vulnerable in those situations. And so it's just remembering to also protect ourselves and to not, allow that criticism to be the deciding factor in anything. It's more a matter of like, okay, take things as they are and let them go, but don't let that be like letting that critic win. Here, the last question is possibly my creativity is.
I think it comes from you guys. I think that's. I think I foster a lot of creativity through friends and family because they're like the engine that gets me jump started, and then I feel like sometimes if I'm in my element, like shooting guns, then I talk a lot of trash. Like I beat my niece all the time in games. See, it takes a little bit of a starter.
You always have to sneak it in there.
It just works for me.
Well,
sorry guys. I mean, I don't know what it is, but I mean, that's the conduit, though. I need that yin and yang. The winner, the loser. You gotta have both, right? So it feels
and
good.
There's only one in this group chat. We know who it is. We know who it is.
And you know what?
Fight that's about to work out. Guys, this is a peaceful art scenario.
Right? Peaceful art. No.
Put the weapons down. Step away from the webcam.
Okay. All right. They're out.
Well, so I just finished the gist of the chapter, and I wanted to remind us that we are going to be asking ourselves this next week, of if I didn't have to do it perfectly, what would I try? And then to remember that quote that we cannot escape fear, we transform it into a compassion that accompanies us on all of our exciting adventures. Take a risk every day. So the idea is try something, even if it's silly, like talking to a stranger or whatever it is, but think about trying to take a risk every day. All right, so tonight, of course, working on bottles. Everyone's already starting to work and trying to work on everyone's got their own bottles, have either prepared them, got them ready. I wanted to just make sure that we are, I'm just going over certain details here, make sure that I'm just discussing them with others. These bottles can be any kind, glass, eco-friendly bottles, to recycle them and upcycle them and make them into eco art. I do this in my art shop, but in general, I'd like to just see what I can do with what's out of recycled items. And so here you can do everything from a collage, a photo transfer. You can paint directly on it. You can put paint in it, and you can have the color come through. If you pour the paint in and you kind of circle around, you could have paint on the inside, and it creates that color. You can put fabric on it. You can do etching. You can do ribbons, yarn, string, any kind of embellishments like buttons and stickers and all kinds of stuff. So collage, like we began everything with, can definitely lend itself with the bottles, the glass itself. You can even put modeling clay on it and create a bas relief. So there's all kinds of stuff that you can do with this particular art and making it an expression of who you are and make it something special for you to look at every day. And remind yourself about making that connection. So here, everyone's got started, depending on what you've got going already. Continue to do that. I have one already I've been working on. I'm going to finish up, and then I'm going to add some pieces to, and then I thought I'd start with another one and see what I can do here. At the end, if you want, I like to get, they're not too expensive. You can get them on Amazon, but they're little, specifically for wine bottles, but they're little stoppers that have battery operated little lights, and you can stick them into your bottle when you're done and finish it off with a little light, so you can have a little ambiance with your glass bottles at the end, whatever you want to do with that. You can use tissue paper. So here I like to put tissue paper and kind of prep the surface for something different. I like to get different colors and try different things and make a different scene. Sometimes you can do glitter as well, and you can spray paint it and then put glitter on it. You can use little types of ways to be able to make it different or make it your own. So, and then of course you can use glass paint, glass markers, anything that works for you that you feel comfortable with. I have a mixture here, but you can do whatever is something that makes you feel good. I just want to also say that this tissue paper I had gotten, and I just thought it was so pretty because it had the nice sunflowers on it. And then so you might find a tissue, napkin even, that has something really cute on it, and you can use that as well. So there's so many ways in which you can be creative and what draws your attention, and you can put it onto your bottles and make something completely unique and special to you, and allow yourself to be able to have fun with it. I like to use decoupage. You can use a variety of different types of adhesive. It's really more what you feel comfortable with, and allow yourself to just create and see what you can do. I also like to use like a twine or yarn or thread or anything that you really like. Honestly, it could be ribbon too, but I like to finish off the bottles, either the top, the bottom, or make different levels to be able to make it a little nicer and cleaner edges, make it a little neater in general. So it's more a matter of what you like and what you prefer, but it's, you know, it can be anything you want it to be. I also like to use these kinds of brushes, the more spongy brushes, to put the tissue paper on, because it gives you a little bit, it tends to be ruined by the decoupage. And so I don't like to use a better brush with it. I like to use one I could throw away after a while. So it's just more preference for me, but everyone has their own preference. So I just wanted to give you some options and allow you to be creative. So what is everybody working with right now?
Unfortunately, all I have is paint, but I don't have the right paint brushes, nor do I have, and it has to dry because I want to put some colors on top of it, and I don't want it to swirl into and make a different color. I really like that yellow because I would have done that for my Pittsburgh Steelers. And I was just like, oh, darn it. That's really nice. But what I did is I kind of had like a little frame. I had the silver, and I wanted to say put champions on top.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm trying to make a helmet, but I'm not there yet.
Remember, like a photo transfer or a template or a stamp. Sometimes that can also help you get to like the what you're looking for. So that can also be a way to accomplish the look that you're looking for.
Now, what are you putting on your? What's that coating you're putting on?
It's the decoupage or Mod Podge.
Oh, okay.
I guess I could leave it. Can you see it from here?
Yep.
I'm trying to do that. Okay.
I like the second camera because it shows you what you have on the.
Well, I'm trying to add more to help make it a little easier.
Well, the drink really stands out. I like the color in the drink.
I'm glad that works.
Yours too, Joe.
Poor Hannah. She has to have water.
Well, she's focused right now.
Well, she's
trying to get that eye of the tiger.
Trying a couple different ones, but she's too. There was a spray paint. She
had to take her video off.
Right?
No, I love battery.
She's got one. I can't wait to see what she come up with. She spray painted, and then she's going to put some, I don't know, something on it. So we'll see what she ends up, how it looks at the end. I'm kind of curious. Joe decided to do, well, we had Crown Royale, so.
I see that. Yes. The small bottle, though.
That was like a large one for us.
Yeah. Oh, your uncle. Okay. I could bring one over here, but it's almost full.
I know you really should show the kids, because when I went over there, I was like, wow, I didn't know they existed that big.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
only
yeah.
seen them like this.
Oh, 1.75, my friend. Not the 750. Not the 750 lead like that.
A lot of whiskey.
Well, that's my go-to. You like your particular brands. I like mine.
Hmm. Well, that one I know. So it depends on the drink, depending on where you're at. Sometimes you really like that. It's more of a like some people can drink with just ice. Depends on what you can tolerate.
Oh, you know what? I could probably use the backside and paint that a different color.
Well, absolutely. Now, Joe,
Just not
you
too
can
certain
always
on how
you can-
the markers turning out. So I think I'm gonna maybe, yeah, I'll probably try just a different method.
there's a tissue paper as well if you want to use that, or like I said, you can put glue or a paint on the inside, and you can establish a different look as well if it's on the inside of the bottle, and it can create a different.
Yeah, I might save it for another time. I think I'll put some paper on it, and then maybe once that dries, do some spray painting or something.
So I was fortunate. I think either you may have or I may have bought some paint for the kids, and we got this glitter. I mean, it's pretty good paint,
Yeah.
like professional fabric paint. If I'm into fabrics, I
Oh,
was
yeah.
gonna get them from mom, but I'm gonna take some of this over to mom's house. So I'll be over there a good chance I'll be over there next week.
Oh, that'd be great.
I will be over the next week, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be before Thursday or after Thursday.
Okay.
So
That's supposed to be a family reunion, correct?
that is correct on Grandpa's side.
Grandpa, I was gonna say, what side is that?
Painting,
Yeah, this is
not
That's the-
boring.
you put inside.
It'd be nice to finally go to some of those again.
I suppose you could.
Maybe I could do it next year.
So when you get I'm gonna call it glaze on it, what's your next strategy?
That's good.
Well, I
Or
personally like to. Well, first it
I
depends
agree
on
that you should
the
do
idea of what I'm
something
doing it
inside.
for, or who I'm doing it for. Because sometimes
I
that'll
just don't know how you're gonna do
direction.
that.
But it's more a matter of like, let me then start to paint on it. Like here, I'm thinking of painting a sunflower, and then using these. Can you see them?
Raising my
I don't know if you can see them, but these little cute monarch butterflies. And I was thinking that maybe kind of having them kind of fly up
It's really
some sunflowers and some butterflies. I think that'd be pretty.
I don't hate it. It's just
You want to try different colors?
no, the colors are good. It's just
Oh, I'm sorry, Joe.
the final aesthetic is not. I want to try something different. Is all.
Jojo, I'm sorry.
I'm not hating it.
I missed the question. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Ashley just wanted to know how she could fill the inside of her bottle. She's done a great job decorating the outside, but she doesn't want it to be clear and maybe fill it with paint or something. How would she go about doing that?
I just give me like 5 minutes and I'll be right back. So, and I'll be able to show you, I'll at least be able to give you something to work with. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Right back.
It's gonna be messy. It's gonna be messy or like really involved. I just knew it would.
Oh, you want it to do inside too?
No, I want to cover this.
How dark do you want it? The inside.
I don't know, just tinted maybe, something to make the design on the outside stand out.
Pop a little more.
I think if you dilute some paint, like with water base, I think will stain it, but it'd be really light, not too much water, and put paint in it, and then just drain the paint out so you can still use it for other things. Possibly.
The colors you got.
So,
You want it made black?
all right. So what you can do is you can get any kind of acrylic paint can work for this when you're putting it on the inside of the bottle that you're not expecting to use or to eat with or whatever. So if you want a particular color, you can then get that acrylic paint. I would water it just a tad because of you don't know how thick it is. But once you then just enough to kind of give it a not as thick consistency, and then you just pour it inside the bottle, and then you pour it in and you just kind of move it around.
Water in there.
No, but it's just a little, so any type of acrylic or any kind of, you can just put it inside, and you just give it a little bit, and then just sort of allow it to kind of move around on the inside of the bottle. And really kind of, it takes a little patience, but it's the best way to be able to get paint on the inside. I would sometimes make ornaments, glass ornaments, and that is one of the ways to do it, is to use the acrylic paint and glitter or whatever else you want to put on the inside, and then you can create the inside painted ornament.
A little bit of water.
In the same way with the, and if it's not sticking as well, you can put a little bit of that white glue in it if you want.
And if you have not a good stick, but just a stick that you can just stir it
Exactly.
as you're going in there, because I would probably put it in a glass,
Yeah.
stir the do maybe a 70-30 ratio with water to the paint, or get the thickness of what you want. So if you want a little bit more, of course it's going to be watery, but maybe a 90-10, 80-20. Put it like maybe a quarter of a cup, if that, and then just flush it around and leave it in there. So I would imagine so it can dry up and dye in there, or so the dye will dry up. Oh, is that a new bottle?
Yes, I'm going to try something. I want to see how the sand is going to work on it. So I'm kind of curious. I like that, like maybe.
Oh, nice texture, I would imagine.
I'm thinking I may offer a.
Are you gonna make it like a beach theme?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe some type of beachy.
Maybe a pine tree going out and then a coconut, and then have a pina colada on the bottom with the person drinking it.
Maybe put more in.
Pink.
I guess.
Ooh, what does my niece have over there? I like the color.
That's not.
I can't see it.
What's weird
I see
is
it
what is unique when the light goes down. I like the dark. It looks like a purple. When the light is on it, it's a light that's more of a pink-ish purple.
What did you put on? Did you put anything on it?
She did. I just can't see it.
Oh, I can't wait to see that one. That's going to be pretty.
It's a nice gloss to it too.
That's just regular spray paint. So you can do
I
all
don't think
kinds of
that's how
stuff.
it's supposed to be done.
So if you're using like glitter or like what I'm
I don't
going to
know.
do here with the sand, is you're going to use like a dish or some way of being able to have it, be protected, because you're going to just essentially roll it.
I think you put too much water in.
If it's not adhering.
Yeah, it was not adhering at all.
So you can add some of that clear glue. I put that out there for you guys.
What? I think you're just making a concoction of some sort. Like a few more ingredients, it's a bomb.
I hope not.
I think that method's better, sis.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit messy. So again, if you guys are, make sure
You need
have
a bucket. You need like a square.
Yeah.
Oh, Tupperware. Do you have like a large
That's
Tupperware?
Not really.
That is glue.
Not like that. Not a flat one anyway.
Well,
Have
well,
your bowl.
it was
Like
a
a
good thought.
Rubbermaid that you put food in, but make it for like you would put ribs in those rectangle ones.
Oh, that reminds me. I'm gonna be doing a Pampered Chef party pretty soon in August. Make sure you keep it. I want to get some stuff for the grill, because I don't have enough.
No.
I don't have that. I would like
Since
to.
we're doing wine bottles, I got a question for you on the hydroponics towers.
Yeah.
I want to color them. I don't like the green and white.
There's other
Yeah.
ones.
I hear
I
you.
want to
Try
paint
the
them.
other one.
I want to paint it like the color that you have right now, of a subtle brown or green.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
just don't worry
Especially
about
for the base, I might even go darker.
it. Okay, let's not make a
What would
mess.
be a good paint to use? Can I use some of these acrylics?
Well,
Or
I'm
is it-
thinking.
Just leave it there.
I'm
or
thinking
spray
you're gonna
paint?
need. I think a spray paint. I think the one that can rust
Maybe it'll like.
all material. I think it's probably the best way to go for
I think
that.
you're coping.
It would be strong enough because of the weather.
Pour it out. No,
Let's see how that dries.
that's way too much water.
Not enough paint.
Not enough paint, too much water. That is not adhering at all.
Yep.
Don't break the wine glass.
Having a little too much fun over there, it looks like.
Yeah.
Hannah looks a little focused over there. Look at that. Eye of the tiger.
Eye of the tiger. Now remember, like if you want to do the finishing touch,
I have a black lab.
it's just the same thing. You put them, you layered it with your glue, and you just basically glue it down, and you just
Now put
methodically roll it and
new
roll
coat paint in.
it until you get to the end. Tuck it in and make sure it's glued down, and it gives you that nice. If you want to do the whole bottle that way, you can do that as well. You can do it with different colors with yarn. There's all different ways to be able to kind of give it a different look, way to kind of experience it differently.
Just make sure it gets into the bottom.
What's going on?
It's not awful.
I don't know why it's going down.
Can you see it?
Yes.
It's drying okay. There's some spots that are not as good, but because of the green, I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. I'll have to go over a few different spots, but I could put some seashells and maybe
I think if you did that again with the sand, I think if you use a Chardonnay, because the bottles are traditionally yellow,
I don't
Yeah.
the yellow will go right
Yeah.
with the sand, will give
or
it
blue.
more pop.
Yeah, or blue.
No.
It might
Oh,
show.
blue. Yeah.
I was just curious. I wanted to give it a try because I was curious what the sand would look like. But you're right. The base, just like when you're mixing colors in general, that would be a factor in all of this of like how it would, be seen from the eye, and if you're looking for a particular color, all that stuff. Just like with everything else, you're gonna, color theory and design starts to take a play in all of this, and so it's just fun to try to experiment and see.
Well, you know what you probably use is a cookie sheet, use foil, and then all the whatever you may drop will go on something that you can easily clean up.
Oh yeah, I have a little clearer thing here, but I
Yeah.
just was trying to keep it on the there.
On that plate, yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes all great plans don't always don't always work the way you want it to.
Case just left the ranch there from my yard.
The range is super old.
Not that it would make my dog sick, just that.
She doesn't eat that much ranch.
I'm gonna see if this will work.
Oh, it's
Well, that looks cool for now.
you did a great job. I think if you get the paint thing figured out, you'll be where you want to be.
I'll do that later.
Considering the way you guys
I still see glitter.
I washed.
I still see glitter. I'm not touching your hand if there's glitter on it. Get away from me. No. Oh.
all right, so what's
You just get more glitter. Stop.
all right, so how's it coming along? I'm gonna do a little check-in. We're getting to be about 7-ish. So I'm just doing a little check-in, see how we feeling, any progress you're making. Okay.
Well, I may have to leave a little early. I apologize, but I want to continue this.
You have another meeting?
No, my little man. Do you hear him in the background?
What's he doing? Hey,
I
Bear.
don't know. Yeah, he's let me go check on him real quick, and I'll see what I can do.
Oh,
Where you at?
I've made all the progress I feel like making today.
That's it. I'm almost there. I think I am going to.
States. More wine.
Okay, so I got some sunflowers on there now. And that's just a simple little cutout. That's smudged on. And then I'm going to
Well, I
add,
told you.
Two more microplastics won't kill me.
I'm going to add these little
You're not good.
butterflies.
And I can put pretty on the inside. Isn't that how beauty works?
It is not.
Really?
What do you think of that one?
Looks great.
That's awesome.
Hear that? Huh? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
That looks really great.
I think
It does.
I'd like to do a little more. I think I could. You know how sometimes the monarchs will line up on a tree and it's just completely covered with all. It looks like it's a tree, but it's actually all full of monarchs. That'd be kind of neat. What do you think? Having it all full. I gotta get a few more of these babies, but about that season.
What do you think?
Ooh! Oh, is it done? Oh my God! Who's
Almost.
been working on this deck? Oh wow! This has
That's
been, like,
nice.
super up. Oh, I like the wall too. The privacy wall.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Oh,
Ooh.
I can't wait to go visit. I can't wait to go visit and have a little glass of Chardonnay on the deck.
There you go.
It can
Wow.
happen.
It's a little overcast today.
Oh, I love the view. I miss that view. I miss Colorado.
Yeah.
I definitely want to go there.
Colorado is cool to visit.
It's just a nice place.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I love the mountains. I really do. I like the ocean, of course.
Oh, me
But-
too.
Yeah, but you know, when you think about other stuff, I think the mountains are just so pretty. I like the rivers coming down. Colorado River is beautiful too.
I'd rather go for a
Hopefully
hike. One.
Yeah, I think this has potential.
What's that?
My little butterflies.
Oh, your
In the
butterflies
sun.
look really sweet.
What?
Yeah.
Butterfly.
See, and this is like a regular embellishment. So if you wanted to do buttons or you wanted, and again, you can certainly do a photo transfer. So if you wanted to do a specific photo, a favorite picture, a favorite moment, you can do a photocopy of it so you don't ruin anything you don't want to ruin. But then you could actually have it photo transferred onto the glass and you can create a whole scene with that. So
That's stuff sharp.
with, and same scenario with your concealers. You could totally do like a stamp or a photo transfer of a scene from the Steelers. Maybe the championship, even the logo or the number, or how many championships. How many championships do they have?
6.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think it's coming along. I'm liking the butterfly. I think it's gonna be a winner. And I think the sunflowers are just enough. I might even want to add some other pollinators on here. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I put some bees in? I can always paint the bees. Give it a little dimension.
I like the 3 dimensions of it.
Yeah, I do too. I think I'm kind of like really liking that part of it. Yeah, I think that's the winner. Winner, chicken dinner.
Winner, chicken dinner. Look at that.
The only thing I'm going to figure out is I don't know if I want to do like a gingham type pattern here, or if I want to do a regular natural twine.
I think you're missing a bumblebee, getting the nectar from the sunflower.
Right? Some like more
Or a hummingbird.
Ooh, a hummingbird would be good. A little hummingbird in here and maybe a bee or two. That would be nice.
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome. I mean,
Right?
it's awesome now.
Right?
I
think so too. I think this has really turned out to be better than I expected. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right, before I forget, so again, like I said, you can easily get these on Amazon. They're just literally, I think they're like wine bottle stopper lights, that you can look them up. And they come in a little package. They already have batteries, and they sometimes have extras. You just pull that little strap there, so you opens it and activates, on and off button, and then you just unravel it, and then you get yourself a whole another level to your bottle, and it makes it even more special. So you can use it as a night light or for ambiance, like right there on your deck, Mike. That would be really pretty on one of your little tables. Put your bottle with the light, so you just take it out. And then you have to stretch it out because you want to make sure it's evenly distributed once it gets put into the bottle.
Yeah.
And they're just a little wire, so it's not, sometimes it gets tangled, but it's not bad. And they just undo that. And then that way you have all of it inside your bottle, nicely, evenly distributed as much as you can. Oops, I took out a butterfly. And then you stick it in slowly. And then you get yourself a nice little look for your a nice ambiance and nice finishing touch. And it really allows you to be able to have a really beautiful art piece that you were able to save a little bit on the environment, save a little bit on even materials and stuff. And this could have all been all found materials. Just glue would have been the only difference in getting it to adhere. Other than that, you could make yourself all of that be. Can you see it from here? You can't see the light, can you?
No, it's too bright.
Let me see if I can. Turn that down a little bit.
Maybe the yellow is too thick.
Yeah. Well, right now I don't think my light's working. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't look like the little lights working. I must have not have pulled that well enough. A little strip. Because it's supposed to come out right away, right?
Yeah. See if the tab is completely off. If it's a pulled part. But
That's what
sometimes
I'm
it might rip, and you might still have a tab in there.
That's what I'm wondering. Maybe I didn't quite get that entirely out. No, right now I think I have a dud. Well, in theory, I'll fix it. I think it might just be. I have to take it apart, and make sure that I may have messed it up. It may still be in there. I just can't.
I
get
like
to
it, Hannah.
Oh, let me see.
Oh, wow.
Oh, how pretty!
It's on the bottom.
The
and then
bling bling on the bottom.
and
Oh,
then
I
it's blown-
like that. It's so sparkly and pretty. And then what did you put on there?
The Mod Podge is drying, so that's just the paint. But then it's just spitting out fire.
Oh, very good choice. And I like the way it stands out.
Oh,
It's
that is pretty.
really pretty. Did you cut that out as a template,
I
or did you?
Yeah, I traced the paper and then put it on.
Very nice, very nice. That was a nice way to do that. And there's a good way. So many different techniques that can be applied when it comes to these things. That's the beauty of all of it. Is just to have fun with it and kind of see what you can do. It gives you a lot of flexibility, but it also gives you the opportunity, like we were talking about with these activities, is to kind of just take that time to relax and listen. And
Oh, you're breaking up. Are you there?
Oh,
Hello.
way you thought it was going to. And so it's it's kind of one of those opportunities to be kind of
Everything's struggling.
Yeah, the whole thing's falling apart.
Everyone's like fading in and out.
It's really bad.
oh,
Hello?
is it? Everyone's fading in and out.
I can
Yeah.
hear you, but
Now I can.
I can hear you, but every so often it was just fading in and
It
out.
was
with
bad
everyone.
there for a second.
Oh no, I hope it's not that bad for the tape itself.
It
But
just happened now, so it's been fine otherwise.
I don't know. I've been having a storm coming. We've been having so many storms. It's just so hard to, know what's getting interfered with. But that's the gist of being able to do these bottles. I love doing them. I think they're a lot of fun. I love finding new ways to create. And then I also like to paint on them. I kind of discovered that I can just use these as canvases. After I put the paper on and I paint them up or I get them all ready, I use it as a canvas. Then I can create different things on it and just paint what I want. And so it's a nice way of expressing yourself in different ways. And you can do any kind of recycled bottle or glass or different things that are out there. I've seen some TikTok users and some YouTube users that are artists that have also started doing stuff on like the dollar store picture frames and that type of stuff. So any kind of glass can be appropriate, and the dollar store can really be a surprising location to find a lot of materials to work with. So not only recycling materials, but you can find things that are reasonable and you can change it and transform it into something else. And that's really kind of fun about art and creativity is what can I do with this and where can I take it to a different place and transform it to something new. So I'm glad that you guys were able to participate in this one tonight and be part of our rediscovering our connections with ourselves, with each other, with our dreams. And even kind of allowing ourselves the opportunity to just the connection with our God and find out, really where to listen and to find out what we're supposed to go. So on that note, I am going to talk about next week. Next week is chapter 8. Isn't that amazing how much we've done? So chapter 8 is discovering the sense of strength. And we are going to be doing jewelry. And so it's going to be fun. We're going to be doing some jewelry, some beads. We're going to be making some bracelets or something that's going to symbolize what we can put on ourselves. That's going to be a reminder every day of strength. And it can be anything, but you just remember it can be even be like a washer, but it could be wine.
A rope and a knot, and it's on my wrist. I'm done.
We could even just work with the thread, and we can make
wash your hands
as well. Hannah's used these different like rubber band type things, and can create like a different piece of jewelry. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it's just a matter. We can even try to make something kind of with the twine and make it into a bracelet. So don't be afraid, but you can have fun with it if you really want to start to get into some more embellishments and beads and color and all that good stuff. So you can do leather and you can do, obviously, different types of material, yarn. There's all kinds of stuff you can do, but that's what we're going to be working on. And we'll hopefully have some fun figuring out how to provide a symbol of strength and rediscover our strength. Sounds like a plan?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's plan. That's plan.
are we toast?
I think we got a
Sounds
toast again. I
Plan
think
good.
Gonna be a cheers for everybody. Thank you for participating, being part of this. This is so much fun. I really appreciate it. And I had a good time.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I drank all mine.
Now,
All right, make sure we get to see our pictures, get a little selfie
Hi.
with our stuff.
Oh yeah, let's get a self.
Everybody get our
All right.
selfies.
That's what little I did.
Here we go. I know Mike's still working on his.
Okay, that should have been.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great week. See you next week.
Bye.
Oh, how do I